Hello everyone and welcome to another special edition of the Wrestling Madness podcast, EPW Special. Today I'm going to talk about a show that took place May 3rd in Hartlepool that I saw on YouTube. So without further ado, we'll get right to it and we'll start it off right now. The first match that took place in Hartlepool, the Hartlepool show, was Power Dragon versus Judo Warrior. Judo Warrior, the match started off, Judo Warrior managed to get an early advantage during first blood on his opponent. Not literally first blood, but, taking control and outsmarting the Power Dragon. However, Power Dragon managed to take control, power slamming the Warrior on the outside, dominating him on the outside, taking full control of the Warrior, and using his size and quickness to ground the Warrior and keep him down. And as I say, power slammed him on the outside, basically bounced him around the ring, basically. Power Dragon was in total control from that point on until the Warrior started to mount a comeback. Yeah, one mistake by the Power Dragon, obviously the Warrior ended up starting to mount a comeback. Warrior hit a beautiful, and I mean beautifully done, Mr. Perfect like neck breaker. Now in case you people don't know what that is, and if you're wrestling fans you will know what it is, it's Mr. Perfect when the opponent used to lie down on the back, that sit up, like if they were going to, like sitting up like the Undertaker kind of move, and the opponent, i.e. the Judo Warrior, would get behind them and then do like a roll. You'd run up to them, grab the neck and do like a front bump, dragging their neck down with them kind of thing, and the opponent would bounce forward like in a whiplash kind of effect, and then it'd bounce back, kind of like a neck breaker kind of thing, and it was beautifully done. However, that control did not last because the Warrior makes one mistake and allows Power Dragon to take advantage by hitting the Judo Warrior with a top rope superplex. Basically that's all it said, a very effective top rope suplex. This was a very short match, by the way, very short quick match to kick off the show, and it ended with Warrior, I believe, was going for his finish. However, the Power Dragon raked the eyes and hits a Death Valley driver on the Judo Warrior to go for the 1-2-3 and gets the win in the first match of the evening. Power Dragon 1-2-3 and gets the W. So like I say, good little match, short match, but probably the shortest match of the night, so to speak, from what I saw on YouTube. Like I said, links will be in the description, but yeah, good little match to kick off. Now we move on to the British Heavyweight Championship match, which contested Supermac, and it seemed like he went out and hired Vixen to be his manager for the evening. He must have paid off Prince Amin or something, I don't know, I don't really care about that. And he took on and he defended the title against Mark Anthony. Now, Supermac playing the heel, obviously, in a way, usually not, from what I've seen. Maybe he hates Hartlepool, I don't know. Either that or Vixen poisoned him. Let's face it, she manages Prince Amin. Seems he was busy that night again. Mind you, she's managed everyone in the company, and she, Vixen, so when the prince is not there, she gets hired out to other places, so to speak. From what it seems, guess EPW just does not know what to do with her unless Prince Amin's in town, so to speak, unless they can put her with a prince. Poor lass doesn't know what she's doing after town, but anyway, that's neither here or there, I digress. Supermac starts to call out everybody in the back, basically gets under Hartlepool's skin, so to speak, and starts calling them monkey hangers and basically gets right in and starts antagonizing the crowd, and then proceeds to call everybody out in the back for an EPW title shot, British title shot, and out comes Mark Anthony. The ring announcer tries to enforce some rules and like some sort of matchmaker or something. I don't know what the hell he was playing at, whether he got him on his list or anything like that, his list of his piece of paper or anything, but he was just trying to enforce some rules and stuff like that. Like I said on the Red Car one, I don't know what the hell his job is. I'd like to know, and to be honest with you, I really don't care at the moment. Like I say, if you want to know how I feel about it, go back on that Red Car one and listen to the pipe bomb that I dropped. Supermac starts by going to lock up, but slaps Mark in the face and then goes out the ring. Basically a hit and run kind of slap, slaps him in the face, runs away. Basically starting the match like if he was Prince Amin, going to the Prince Amin chicken shit school of wrestling, so to speak. Either that, he was trying to play mind games with the guy, and it seemed to have worked. When they eventually got into the ring, Mark Anthony uses his power for advantage, but again, Supermac manages to get away and goes out to the ring. Happens again, but Mark chases him this time round, and Supermac misses 2 elbows as Mark was trying to get back into the ring. Supermac goes out, Mark goes out Anthony, and after him, starts running around the ring. Supermac gets into the ring, And it's the normal kind of routine kind of thing. The guy gets in the ring, the guy in the ring starts taking the advantage. Obviously that didn't work for Supermac because he went to go, because Mark was trying to get into the ring, Supermac went for 2 elbows and completely missed. Basically Mark was at 1 step ahead of him, so to speak, was basically knew what he was going to do. Mark started toying with Supermac, missing the elbows, and Mark Anthony was trying to get back in the ring. As Mark got back in the ring, Supermac went out of the ring being hanging around the Prince too much, I guess. Mark Anthony seemed to have Supermac in a frustrating mood, so to speak. Supermac eventually took control of the match, and yes, Vixen got involved as usual. Need I say more on that situation? Supermac spent a lot of the match, I will say this, Supermac spent a lot of the match, pondering to the crowd, so to speak, antagonizing the crowd, letting the crowd get under his skin and not really focusing on what he was doing in the ring with Mark. Every time the crowd would say, something out of context towards Supermac, he would go out the ring and get in their faces, so to speak, trying to, let their antagonization, if that's even a word, get to him. Obviously, the Hartlepool crowd were getting under Supermac's skin. Supermac in control, but misses a top rope elbow. Yep, went up to the top rope, which allowed Mark Anthony to get back into the match. Supermac took firm control, and Vixen gets involved while Mark was on the outside of the ring. Need I say more on that? It's clear as day. Mark Anthony tries to take an advantage, but Supermac is 1 step ahead. Hits a top rope drop kick. Was it perfect? I don't think so, but it was effective, and that's what counts. It doesn't have to be perfect as long as it's effective. Mark countered the running knee and hits a spine buster to get a near fall. Mark goes for the finisher, but Vixen comes in to the ring and low blows him. Supermac loses by DQ, but retains the title. I have to admit, this is the first ever DQ that I've seen in EPW, because I don't remember seeing a DQ in EPW before, but it was what it was. Vixen got involved, and the referee saw it, and Supermac got disqualified, but retained the belt. And then Supermac decides to challenge him to a tag team match. Mark Anthony gets his partner, Supermac will get his partner. Basically, it was a dream partner tag team match. More on that match later on in the show. On to the next match here on this show, which was Asylum and Chris Diamond in a TLC no disqualification match. Now, the match started off with Asylum showing Chris he has the power advantage. I think Chris was trying to match power with the guy, and you never want to match power with the Asylum, seriously. He will own that. From what I've seen, he will own that fight any day of the week. Chris made the big man make a mistake and got an advantage till he made a mistake and received a choke slam. Chris receiving the choke slam. I can't imagine Crazy Chris doing the choke slam on the Asylum, but yeah, Crazy Chris made a mistake, having the advantage, and that's all it takes is one mistake and you pay for it, and Asylum made him pay for it. Chris then gets a low blow to take back the advantage and begin taking control of the match with a chair shots. He brought the chair into play and started using the chair shots to wear the big man down, and even wedged a chair between the top and second turnbuckles, although that did backfire on him because he got whipped into it. Asylum then used his power to control Chris and control the match, and proceeded to beat him down with a chair. A little taste of Chris's own medicine, since he brought the chair into play, used it on Asylum, and then receives a little bit of his own medicine, so to speak. Chris got advantage back and hit the Asylum with chair shot to the leg. Now, this was smart, Chris's part, because he obviously couldn't wear the guy down, and he is a monster, the Asylum, there's no doubt. So what's the next best thing? You go to the chair, you hit the chair, no disqualification, you use the chair on the leg, and you wear the leg out. You try to keep the guy down to your size, so to speak. Drop him down, because like I said before, they're all the same size when they're flat in the back. Chris took it on from there, and he also managed to bring a ladder into play as well. TLC match, tables, ladders and chairs. He's used the chair, he's used the ladder, so why not bring the ladder into play? Chris then throws Asylum out of the ring and continues his dominance, but once again receives a backfire by going into the ladder he was going to use on the Asylum. Just like the chair shot, Asylum got a near fall. That's right, he whipped him into the rope. He was going to whip Asylum into it, and a carbon copy of the chair early on when it was wedged into there. Chris took the ladder again, so I guess you could say double backfire, and the Asylum gets a near fall out of it. Asylum controls the match and starts to mount some offense and uses a beautiful pump handle slam. I think it's a pump handle power slam to get a near fall. Asylum then went to the second turnbuckle, but he slips off and injures his leg a bit. That's the effects of the chair shot from Chris earlier on in the match, and it came back to haunt Asylum in that respect, because slipped off the ropes and landed on it and basically became a bullseye. Chris then power slams the monster and does a leg drop off the ladder. Beautiful leg drop off the ladder. I think that's Chris's trademark. I would say that's Chris's trademark because he does that quite a lot and does it well, I might add. Asylum regains control back and then splashes Chris. Hits Chris with a splash to get a near fall, and towards the end Chris then hit Asylum with a chair shot. It did not phase the monster. The monster sat up like the Undertaker and managed to beat Chris with a black hole slam. 1, 2, 3. And got a hard fought victory, so to speak, because from what I saw it was quite an even match. Saying if I had to say that Chris had merely most of the advantage, but Asylum didn't let that worry him and he got the victory for it. Will these two meet again in the Rumble? Because they are in the Rumble, but will they cross paths again? We'll see. But a great win for the Asylum in a okay TLC match. A good TLC match. Now we go on to the next match, which was the Dream Partner Tag Team match. And Supermark comes out and starts blabbering the crowd again, just like he did earlier on, and introduces his partner and thanks him for being his partner. And the partner was the Mass Destroyer, a big 300-pounder, so to speak. And he's also there with Vixen. Mark Anthony comes out and his partner turns out to be the Judo Warrior. Mark and Judo run in, Masked Man and Supermark run out. So basically they cleared the ring and showed it was dominance kind of thing. Judo Warrior had Supermark, in control of him and looking to work on the arm and focus on it and isolate Supermark, but Supermark managed to get away and tag out. The Masked Man trying to match power in a way and proved his superior till Anthony outsmarted him ducking the Mass Destroyer and hitting him with a clothesline. The Masked Man sat up like the Undertaker and Anthony looked to wrestle the big man, but the Masked Man found a way to hit the DDT on it. Basic wrestling by Mark Anthony, trying to look him to, take the guy down and wrestle him down to the ground. But like I said, Masked Man tried to somehow managed to slip away from it and then proceeded to hit him with a DDT. Masked Man gets up and hits a leg drop on Anthony, or misses a leg drop on Anthony, and Anthony hits one of his own to get a near fall. The Masked Man and Supermark regained control. Masked Man tagged in Supermark. Masked Man regained control and tagged in Supermark, and Mark Anthony trying to save Judo Warrior. Yes, Judo Warrior got a tag in and tried to save the Judo Warrior to no avail. Judo Warrior took control and Mark Anthony took control of Supermark, tagged in Mark, but Judo Warrior took control of Supermark and tagged in Mark Anthony, but Supermark tagged in the Mass Destroyer, basically running out like a coward. He sees Mark Anthony, because obviously Mark wants to get his hands on him. He runs out like a coward and tags his partner, wanting none of that. Masked Man controlled the Judo Warrior with an armbar and tags Supermark back in, and they seem to keep the Warrior in their corner. Basic tag team wrestling. Supermark gets a near fall from a top rope drop kick. Again, not a perfect drop kick, but he connected on it and it was effective. That's what counts. Supermark and the Masked Man controlling the match using the 5 count to their advantage. Maybe I say maybe testing the ref's patience, so to speak, but they were using the advantage. They had 5 count to get in and get out, so to speak, and they were using it very well with a double team on the Judo Warrior. Supermark and the Masked Man using basic tag team wrestling. Masked Man showing his power by hitting a reverse DDT and a running power slam. Very well executed in both. The Judo Warrior manages to create some space though by ducking what perceived to be a double clothesline and hitting the two with a double clothesline of his own, and manages to finally tag in Mark Anthony, and Mark finally gets his hands on Supermark, whipping him to both corners and hitting Supermark with their CM Punk knees, and Mark Anthony hits him with a GTS on Supermark, but Vixen distracts the ref and the Masked Man breaks up any chance of a pin. Now, I don't know what the hell was going on here, but I believe it was Vixen fakes an injury on the outside, because she got up on the apron and I believe she was faking some sort of an injury, kind of. Could not tell. Fuck knows what the ring announcer was doing. Ring announcer was going over there to check on her with the referee there as well. Jesus Christ, I don't know what he's Anyway, listen to the red car EPW and you know how I feel about that situation. Supermark then, they both get control of the match. Supermark eventually gets Mark Anthony in a corner. Lo and behold, to his unawareness, so to speak, Judo Warrior was behind Supermark, and Supermark turns round and receives a spear. And Anthony kicks Masked Man off the apron, and the Judo Warrior gets a 1-2-3 for the win. And Mark Anthony gets a little bit of revenge for the loss earlier on, and his team of him and the Judo Warrior get a 1-2-3 3. Good little tag team match and a good win for Mark Anthony and Judo Warrior. Now on to the Royal Rumble, which consists of 7 wrestlers. Judo Warrior. Now I'm gonna call this. It was Judo Warrior, Mass Destroyer, Mark Anthony, Crazy Chris Diamond, Asylum, and Supermark. Now there was another guy in there that didn't compete on the night. I think this was his first run out. He had it in the Rumble. I didn't quite get his wrestling name, but I'm gonna go by his real name, which is Dave Mulhaney, spelled Mawhiney, Hinney. Dave, and it's Dave Mulhaney, so to speak. If I get that wrong, I apologise. Dave Mulhaney, like I said, Mawhiney. If I got that wrong, mate, I apologise. But he participated in that, and I gotta admit, the tights he wore kind of made him look like a very young Baron Von Raschke. You have to go back, like I said, the links will be in the description if you see this on YouTube. Just go back and have a look. He looks like Baron Von Raschke, an old wrestling legend. But anyway, be that as it may, the Judo Warrior came in, and he made a mistake coming in, Dave. He made a mistake coming in, because as he was coming in, comes in, goes to attack the Judo Warrior, and then out of nowhere, he just walks right into a spear. Come in, you make one mistake, rushes into it, and then turns around and gets a spear for his trouble. And then the Judo Warrior just looked up and was like, okay, really? But he managed to hang in very well. Anyway, the Judo Warrior was eliminated by Crazy Chris Diamond. The order was Judo Warrior, Dave, the Mass Destroyer, Mark Anthony, Crazy Chris Diamond, Asylum, and Supermark with Vixen. Judo Warrior was eliminated by Crazy Chris. Dave was eliminated by Mark Anthony, and he actually showed me that on Facebook as well, by the way, Dave, which is pretty cool. Thank you for the tag to that video as well, by the way. Mass Destroyer was eliminated by Crazy Chris. Crazy Chris did very well to get him out. Like I say, the guy's about 400 pounds, something like that, 300 pounds, but he did very well to get him out. Mark Anthony got eliminated by Supermark and Vixen. Vixen distracts Mark Anthony rather, and Supermark takes advantage of it, and then Mark Anthony proceeds to chase Vixen around the ring and all the way out to the locker room, so to speak. And then it came down to the final 2, Supermark, Asylum, and Crazy Chris. And Crazy Chris was eliminated by Asylum. Asylum using his power and shows Supermark who's boss, and gets him eliminates him, and becomes the winner of the Rumble in Hartlepool. And that was it, basically, and it was a good show from what I saw. The ring announcer playing an annoyance again, but I managed to ignore that to a point. But other than that, it was a good show, and could have had more in the Rumble. Heck, it was a good little Rumble, and a good show, like I said, a good show all around. And that's it for this podcast. May 3rd, EPW Special in Hartlepool. I'm Anthony Walker. Until next time, goodbye.